thought what might be really useful for you today is for me to go through a checklist that I have on my studio wall. It's the thing I go back to when I'm trying to bring something into my work that I might have forgotten about, or I might be doing the same things over and over again and I want to bring in something different. And it's good to have a list to refer to because sometimes we forget about these things. So I'm just going to go through the list and you'll also be able to download it and put it onto your studio wall. It's a great thing to have for just when you get into those moments of stuckness to get you unstuck. So the first thing, and I've spoken about it yesterday on the paint, is repetition. Repetition's a really good one, and it's something that we worked with in our journals of just doing the same mark and doing it over and over and over again. It's something that works to bring consistency across a piece of work. It can also be a little bit freeing when you're doing something and it feels like, okay, I can do this more and more and more, and it's easy to do. So do that in your journal and also bring it to your work when you're a little bit stuck. Creating space in a work. So if you've got lots going on, just really giving yourself an area that's quite calm that you can then come over the top of. I do that a lot because I have a lot of busyness going on at a lot of different stages in my work. So I just create or clear space for myself. Another thing that I use a lot is less control. However I can bring less control into my work, the better it is for me. I like the randomness. So just having big brushes that are on sticks. I've shown them to you before, but I do have a lot of these types of tools because you can't really get too much control. Even if I'm doing something that I'm used to doing, like circles or writing, this gives me the ability to make it look just that little bit odd. And I like that in a work. There's bold marks. Sometimes when you've got a lot happening or you just don't know how to start doing something and doing it very definitely. Grabbing a color and, for instance, I'll demonstrate for you. Grabbing a color. Here I've got a white sheet of paper. And there's nothing more bold than grabbing a very, very bright color and doing something big. It just gives me this beautiful thing to respond to. I mean, wow, just that against the white is so beautiful. It's such a bold move. And I'll do that at the beginning, but I also might do it during when I'm stuck and I want to do something else. Something else that you can do is scribbles. I love doing scribbles, just getting a pen or a pencil or a pastel and just making marks that are random. So I love literally making odd marks that just feel like scribbles. And to be honest, when you're doing these, it can sometimes feel like, oh, have I done too much? But they actually look excellent when you do too much. They're like this collection of oddness that can happen in a painting that are quite good. So it's a good thing to practice. But scribbles are something you can bring to your work. The other thing that I love that I've demonstrated before is bringing words. Particularly in early layers, but also in final layers. They can be this interesting thing. Other people don't necessarily need to know what the words are. If you do them with a big brush or ink and you're just doing them right across from one side to the other, or you're using maybe your opposite hand, that's another one that's on my list, is using your opposite hand. It gives you less control and it also helps you do odd shapes that you wouldn't do with your dominant hand. So I'm left-handed, so my non-dominant hand is my right hand. I'm also a little bit ambidextrous, but definitely if I want to get a less of a clear line, I will go to my right hand with anything, paintbrushes or pencils or oil pastels. Another thing to do when you're working, and this is something that I sometimes do and it can really help, is I'll cover. And a lot of people do this. They work in the same sort of area in their canvas and it gets a bit same. So if you were to cover over half of your work or a quarter of your work or somewhere, and then just keep creating, you're going to get this shape that happens that you wouldn't do in any other way. So getting some tape and sticking down some odd bit of paper, just at any kind of angle, and then continue your work and then take it off and see what that does to your work. It's also really good. Another one is tape. So make sure your piece of work is dry, and get a bit of your painter's tape and put little bits of the painter's tape at odd angles on your work, and that can bring out some odd shapes so that when you remove them, you've got these little peeks through to what you've created before. That's another one that's really good. If you've got odd shapes like this, I love bringing in straight lines. So I do have, I'll just grab a ruler. I won't take a moment. So bringing in, I often bring in a straight line because I do a lot of things that aren't straight. So bringing in something like this and then creating a very straight line in your work can be really good. I mean, these ones are straight anyway, but that, over randomness can be quite good. Gives you the straightness that happens next to a lot of oddness. So straight lines, when you want to bring a bit of order into your work, can be really good. So another one that I really love is stealing. And this is a great one for if you're stuck and you just like what marks to make, what colors to use. Find an artist that you really love. Find an artist who uses colors that light you up. Find different marks that you love in paintings that you love and put them into your work. When they filter through you, you will make them your own. Don't be afraid of doing similar marks to someone else. There is so many marks in this world. You can use them. It's like using the same chords on a guitar. Find things you love and bring them into your work. It can get you unstuck. Another one that I love is music. Putting different songs on while you're painting, it can really change things up. So putting something high energy, or trying jazz, or you can go to opera, anything to go, well, what does this do to my work? Experiment with it. Try a different sort of genre of music every day and see what it does to your creating. Music can make such a difference to the way you move and therefore the way you put paint onto your canvas. This one, I've spoken about it to you before, but it's a biggie. Do many works at once. Don't just get obsessed with one. I do at least 4 at one time. I never just work on one. I can feel myself getting too closed in and too obsessive if it's just one piece. And I actually really love going from small to big in one session because I think it's kind of like exercise. It stretches you in different ways. So many works is a big one. Another one is limitations. Rather than giving yourself the full spectrum of colors, choose 2 colors in black and white and see what you can create with that. On some days, maybe just reduce yourself to black and white and see what you can create. Maybe just go to, I'm just going to create with oil pastels today, or I'm just going to see what I can do with inks. It's really good to give yourself a limitation in some way. Another one way to limit yourself is time limit, because we can go too far. So say I'm only going to work for 15 minutes today, put on a timer and stop at 15. Time limitations can be really good for not getting too overly involved in a piece and going too far. Another one is doing what you love. Instead of trying to erase what you don't love, just do what you love. I love bright colors. I love abstracting flowers. I bring them into my work a lot, even if they're not that visible to you, the viewer. I know in my head that I'm getting a lot of inspiration from those things. So I'll often have fresh flowers in the studio. I'll have pictures around that remind me of different flowers that I love. And I'm sure that those colors and the shapes make it to my work. So do what you love, find what you love, hone in on the things that you love, because that will make your work more personal and more you, which is what we really want. That's when you're making some really truthful work, is when it's what you love. Turn your painting. This is a biggie. You get a different sense of your painting as soon as you turn it in different directions. And I do it all directions, not just all the way around 180 degrees. I work on a piece and I turn it 90 degrees and 90 degrees. And even if I know the direction that I'm thinking it's going to be, it gives you a completely different sense of composition when you see it from every angle. And composition has to work from every angle. It's a really good way to tell whether your composition's off. Sometimes the easiest way to see it is if you draw like a circle and you think you're in the center, or you think you're creating this piece that is central. And then when you turn it, you realize how off it can be when you go 90 degrees and 90 degrees. So try that. Turning your painting can be such a big one. Using different tools. So, you know, when I've put paint onto my palette, and I've been using a paintbrush for a while, and I want to get something different, I'll bring in something else to bring in something completely different. I can get stuck on brushes and I like using different things. So scrapers for me are a bit different. Bringing in my water bottle to bring, you know, nice changes across the painting. But these scrapers can be really good. Another one is, I'll put some more of that blue out and get it nice and solid, is scraping into. So I'll just grab my palette knife that is here somewhere, and I love going in to paint that's already there and creating something different in the marks that I create. So it's scraping through to what's underneath, even if you do it even more. I love, you know, the roughness that you can get with that, but also just the scraping can be these beautiful lines that give you something that you can't get any other way. Another good one is collage. Now, I did sort of talk to you about these journals that I create on, and whether or not I use a piece that I've already put some paint onto, or whether I use something that's got a little bit more of a pattern to it. Doesn't really matter. I love getting collage material out of these books and finding odd shapes and using them in some way on my paintings. I used to do it a lot more than I do at the moment, but, you know, it's something that I do at different times if it feels right to get the odd different shape, the odd different color. So finding ways to bring in different collage pieces into a work can be a really good way of doing something different. Once I am somewhere, and I don't know if you experience this, and I'm sure you do because I experience it a lot, is that I can't see the work after a while when I've been painting it. So photograph your work. Photograph it. Have a look at it in your phone lens. Turn it. Take it to black and white. Keep it for a few days. But photographing it can be really, really helpful. And it can be really helpful to crop into pieces. You may have more than you think you have. By cropping in, you can sometimes get those hidden surprises. A bit like when you do the sixes and you reveal, cropping can be something that gives you a whole different piece of artwork when you're working big and then you come closer in on it. I will be just demonstrating the cropping in a lot more in another week, but that's another one to really look at. Abstracting things. So if you're wondering what to do, not knowing what to put into your painting, have a look around your studio. have things in your studio that you find interesting, and maybe just blind draw things that, or shapes that light you up, that can send you off on a different direction by bringing them into your work. So right now I'm just looking, and I've got a plant up there and it's a bit like a fern. So I'm just kind of bringing in loosely some of those shapes, just to send me onto a different path with what's going on here. So abstracting things, you can do them from, you know, I've talked to you about my flowers and that kind of shape, which I'm often think about like as a rose or a flower. I do that a fair amount in my work, or that sort of shape, which in my head I kind of do have a flower as I'm creating them. So they may not end up being exactly what you think that they are, or people may not see them as what you've got in your head, but it doesn't matter. It's just a way of making an odd mark up. Okay, so the other thing, the last thing, is contrast. So when you've got a really bright color like this, doing something that's different. So I'm just going to get something that's different to this beautiful bright blue and go right next to it. And that will give me this contrast right here, that beautiful light color next to a very, very, very bright color gives me this contrast. So I hope that's helped. I will put this into a list that you can bring into the studio. It really helps to just kind of spark your head into a different direction. Each of these things can be used. You can try them all, find the ones that work for you, and it'll just help you, I hope, get unstuck when you're feeling like you don't know what to do.